In this third video, we will talk about delivering the raw material to the production line, starting the production, receiving of finished goods, and then copying the finished good to service items, the quality control of outgoing goods, repair, and then the transfer of the approved finished good to finished good warehouse. From this warehouse, you actually can sell the finished goods on motorcycle to your customers. So we will go back to the production orders. We have here 3 approved production orders. The first one which we will handle is the production order for the mirror. We have a planned quantity of 12 mirrors. That means 2 mirrors for one motorcycle. This mirror will be assembled by a subcontractor, but we have to deliver him the raw material. So I click to this production order. And here you have a button which is called Deliver Raw Material. If I click this, you will see that it will create picking for 24 washers. You have 2 washers for one mirror. So I have to validate this. So now I have actually validated this picking list. And you will see you have here the picking list of the stock move. So here when I go back to the production order, I see that this mirror now, this production order is colored in blue. That means it is in progress. We have delivered the material to the subcontractor. When you click on the manufacturing order for the mirror, you will see that we have sent the washers to the supplier, 24 washers to the supplier. So they have been issued. At this moment, quantity in stock is 0. The planned delivery time for this washer was 27th of February. So now we can receive the finished goods once we receive it from the supplier. What will happen? The finished goods will go from supplier to income inspection before they go to raw material warehouse. So I will now receive the finished goods from the supplier. So here I have the finished good is not anymore the washer. The finished good is the mirror. And I receive 12 mirrors. So receive finished goods. So now the planned quantity was 12. The received quantity is 12. In the production order, you see now that the production order for the mirror is now waiting for quality control. So all the items which are subcontracted will have to pass quality control before they go, in this case, to raw material warehouse. We can do that by clicking the production order and copy to finished good inspection quality control. So now we copied that item. We have this 12 mirrors. We can say how many, we can check how many will pass. So suppose we pass 10, there will be 2 failed quantities, and we can enter a failure code here. The failure code is something which you can configure in the settings. So here now you have a good transfer, incoming inspection to raw material, and the items which are not accepted will go to scrap. So now we can validate this finished good inspection, and it will create a good transfer. 2 units will go to scrap, 10 units will go to raw material warehouse, so that means they are available for this manufacturing. We now want to continue with the manufacturing order of the 2 motorcycles. That is this manufacturing order. We go to this manufacturing order. We need those items, planned quantities. Those raw material has to be delivered to those line warehouses in the production line. The planned receive date was 28th of February. The quantity in stock at this moment is mentioned here. So now we are going to deliver the raw material to the different line warehouses. This can be done by clicking this button. You will take the material from the raw material warehouse. Notice that you have here 2 engines. Those 2 engines require a serial number. You have to select the serial number. This can be done by scanning the label on the engine. And then, if you validate all the quantities which are mentioned here, they will be transferred to the production lines. So we have now created a picking list, and we delivered all those items, raw material, to the different line warehouses in the production line. This is the issued quantity mentioned here. We can now start the production. When you go back to the production orders, you see that this production order is now shown in blue. It is in progress. We have planned 2 motorcycles, and at this moment we did not yet receive any assembled motorcycle. Once the assembly of the 2 motorcycles is completed, you can now receive finished goods by pushing on this button. And for this case, we have again the serial number. We have to enter the serial number. And let's say that for this one, we receive those 2 motorcycles from the production area. Received. So we have here 2 motorcycles, planned quantity, received quantity 2. When we go back to the manufacturing orders, you will see that there is 1 production order which is now waiting for QC. The planned quantity was 2, and we received actually 2 assembled motorbikes. We can click this production order, and we will now copy that production order to finished good inspection, quality control. We have to check those 2 motorcycles, and we have here a possibility to indicate which ones are not passing the quality control. You can also indicate the failure code. Suppose that we pass this motorcycle, but this one didn't pass. So that means we have 1 motorcycle which passed, which is serial number 2222, and here we have another one which failed the inspection, which is this serial number. We validate this, and now a picking list is created, and this picking list, you can see here, you will see here that 1 unit is going to scrap. Actually, this is not scrap, but this is a repair location, and this one will go to finished good motorcycle. I will now go back to the production order, which has been completed. On the top right, you see you have an option here to copy that to a service item. Actually, all the production orders of finished goods should be copied to a service item. Why should they be copied to service item? In the service item, we gather all the information about serial numbers, manufacturing date, lots, engine serial number. So here we just copy to service order. One copy was successfully created. This service order can be used also in service job or repair jobs. For example, now for that production order, you have one scooter which need to be repaired. So for that motorcycle, we will create one service order, and that service order we will relate to that service item. So the service item can be seen in the service job module. You have here a menu item, service items. So I just created this service item. This service item for this serial number is related to this product, Motorcycle Deluxe. The location of the service item is now finished good motorcycle. You have the sales unit cost here. You have more information which can be entered later on. You have a note where you see that it is related to this manufacturing order. And under the service item, you see components. Here you see that this service item, this motorcycle, has an engine also with a serial number and related to this product. When you click that, you have all kind of information which you can enter here. You can also enter information about warranty, commissioning, etc. So this service item is then used in a service order for repair, or that service item can also be used for creating service jobs for preventive maintenance later on when you sell this machine. We are now going back to the finished good inspection. The last finished goods inspection for the two motorbikes you will see here. One motorbike with serial number 1111 actually failed. So for this motorcycle, we have created one customer, which is called production, because actually the repair of the finished good will be invoiced to production. So we created one customer, which is called production. We relate that service order to the manufacturing order. This is the manufacturing order, which was made to create two motorcycles, for which one motorcycle was not accepted. So we created this service order. We can attach this service order to a service item. You go here. This service item was for this. We have to search for the correct item for this serial number. So we select this one. You can put also failure code here and save this. So now we have one service item, service order related to one service item. A bit more information about the service order. You see here the service order. This is related to a project, service project 11003. This is actually used to also record time of intervention. You have here the order number of the service order. Here we enter the information of the items which we require for repair. In this case, we need 2 brakes, and we don't want to create an additional invoice, so we put here included in the contract. So it means it's impossible to create an invoice for this service order. We are only recording the cost. Under this service order, you have the service item, which is the motorcycle deluxe, with the correct serial number. So you have to be careful that you create the correct serial number for this service item. Now what you can do is you can use that service job, and you can copy that to the good issue. This will create the good issue for the 2 brakes. The good issue will appear underneath the service order. Here you have the good issue. If you click this good issue, you see that this is for 2 brakes and related to this service job. Important is that the service order is referring to the manufacturing order, because the cost has to be related to the manufacturing order. So I go now back to the service order. I can do that by clicking this arrow. Here you have the service order, and you see that we have selected the manufacturing order. So that means all the cost of this service order will be related to that manufacturing order. If we go to the manufacturing order just by clicking this arrow, we have here the manufacturing order, we have the stock pickings, and you see here that the service order is placed below the manufacturing order, and that the total cost is allocated to the manufacturing order. You can now approve this service order because it's still in planned status. To do that, you click on the service order, you go to approval, and you can actually select the approver, which is in this case the admin, and you select his code, PIN code. When you go to the manufacturing order, is this one. You see you have all the components which is used for that manufacturing order, that is the raw material. You have here the operations, you have the plant durations, and the actual durations. The actual durations will be something which we have to update with the number of finished goods. Let's look again to details of the production order. When you go to production order, you have different tabs. Here, components, those are the raw material which we have been using for the production of the 2 motorcycles, the issued quantity, and the quantity which we still have in stock. You have the operations, you have the production line, and you have the different workstations on the production line, and the planned duration. The actual duration is some figure which we have to update with the actual number of finished goods going out of the production line. You have the quality control. Here we produced 2 motorcycles. We have 1 motorcycle passing the quality control, 1 failing the quality control, and below you have all the good transfers, good movements, and here we have the service order which we have created to repair the item which was not passing the quality control. When you go to the finished products, you see here that we created 2 finished products with those serial numbers. They were all going to outgoing inspection. When you look to the costing tab, you see all the material which have been used to produce these 2 motorcycles. And below you have the cost of the repair. This is the cost for the repair of 1 motorcycle. And you have seen the cost coming from the good issue, more precisely the 2 brakes. So the total cost is this amount. Please note that the costing tab in the production order is only recording here the direct cost related to the finished product. You see here is the cost of the material and also the cost of the repair, which is related to the manufacturing order. Actually, there are much more costs involved in production, and those costs are coming from indirect costs. To record the impact of the indirect cost, you have to create a production period. If you go to production period, you will see here I created 1 production period for from this date to this date. And in this production period, you have indirect cost of salaries, electricity, water, scrap assembly, machinery cost. Assembly, that means the cost of the workers. Machinery is the depreciation cost of the machines you are using in the production environment. So here this cost is recorded for a period from the 1st of January up to the end of March. Those production period can be created by month or by quarter. And you have here a button which is used to update the periodic cost, because finally we have to look not only to the direct material cost, but also to the indirect manufacturing cost related to the product. Now, the indirect cost, you have different ways to allocate that to the product. For example, here salaries, we allocate that based on the number of orders. We have here assembly and machinery. We distribute that based on the operational time. When you click here, you will see the different options you have. You can either allocate the cost based on number of orders, finished goods, operation time, or the selling price of the finished good. So those are the allocations. Here you have different cost types. Those cost types can be consumable related cost, overhead cost, or repair cost. And those type of costs will be also shown in the cost summary report of the product. So to update this cost to the cost of the direct cost of the product, you have to click this update button, and then this cost will be distributed to the different finished goods. So this will be the basis of the cost summary report. We are now going to look to the report. In the report section of manufacturing, you have a cost summary report. This cost summary report is recording all the costs, actual and standard cost, and also calculates the variance. That means the difference between actual and standard cost. So in our case, we have here different components here. We have, this is the manufacturing order for the mirror. So we have 12 units. This is the standard cost. The standard cost will be compared to the actual cost. The actual cost is actually the cost of the material, the cost of consumables, the cost of overhead cost, and the cost of direct labor cost, which are all summarized into the total actual cost. And the difference between this actual cost and the standard cost is the variance. So here you have a cost summary report giving you the difference between the actual cost of the product and the standard cost which you are using for the finished goods, which are motorcycle deluxe and the semi-product, which is the mirror. All the other costs for the products, for the raw material, is following the cost method which you have selected in the products.